Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's watch party for In Search of Darkness, Part 3. I'm Andrew, as always, your host. I'm joined today by Sparky John. Hello, John.
Hi, and hi, everyone.
Okay, so I can see we've got our community joining us in the usual places. We're joined by friends on Facebook, Discord, Twitch, and YouTube. I can see James is already with us on YouTube. And in our Discord server, which is now free to join, go to any of our socials and the link can be provided to you. We've got Mad Matt, we've got Sharon, we've got Eric, we've got Onzi, we've got Jedi Wizard, we've got Phonic, we've got Calbot, we've got Sharon, we've got Edward the Black Prince joining us, as well as, let's see who else has been chatting recently. We have Leanne and so many other friends. Forgive me if I missed you out. Say hello and I'll say hello back. Okay, guys, so we're going to be watching Warlock today, and that's a great film. So today's sync point, because there's been some various releases of it over the years, will be when the New World logo, the New World Pictures logo fades in. I'll post a screenshot of that to our Discord community now. So on my copy, it's about 26, 27 seconds in. So here we go. We're gonna have great fun with this. So while you all get queued up, John, Warlock, great film. Was this? I know you saw a lot at the cinema. You worked at the cinema in the 80s.
Yes,
did you see this one at the cinema?
Yes, 89. 2 years
This must have had
released in America.
This must have had a very limited release in the UK.
Yeah. I mean, it did get released through the Canon cinema chain in the UK back then. And it was actually quite popular for its short release schedule that it had. I mean, even on VHS when it was released, it was extremely popular.
Exactly. It's a great fun film. Again, I saw it in the usual way at the time. I saw it on Sky Movies and satellite TV in the 80s. When I was, sorry, in the early 90s, very early 90s, when I was far too young to have seen it. It's a great film. So, everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to start playing the film in just a second. So on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press play, everybody. New World Pictures, which also, this always reminds me of, because Dirty Dancing was a New World Pictures film as well, wasn't it?
This was one of the last films actually done by New World Pictures. They actually folded after, well, they were sold, which was why it was delayed with the release in America.
Right. And in a minute, we're going to see the amazing Julian Sands, who, I'll say it now, he is, I'm a straight man. However, he is a gorgeous looking man in this film. It's basically, he's a demonic model in the film, is probably the best way to describe him. He's absolutely perfect looking in it. It's amazing. It's one of the things I actually even like about it. All the witch hunter looks grotty and dirty. I knew you'd think that, Sharon. Sharon says, totally agree. He's a gorgeous man. So we're seeing all the villagers. They all look sort of dirty and grotty, and the witch hunter as well is kind of a bit grimy and grotty and smelly looking. But you just see this absolutely pristine model in this outfit that just suits him perfectly. The magistrate is played by Ian Akromby, Mad Matt says. So got Laurie Singer now. Now, Laurie was an unusual choice for this film because she was more of a, her biggest thing probably to date before this was Fame, the TV series of Fame, which was, for those who are maybe a bit younger, it was the Glee of its day. If you don't know what Fame, there was a movie. It was
better than Glee. It was far better than Glee.
There was a movie of Fame, which was quite dark, but then the TV series came out and it was very, very much like Glee, or Glee was very much like Fame, and she was a series regular on that. Sort of famous dancer and singer. And of course, in another favourite of mine she's in is the 1984 classic Footloose, where she plays the minister's daughter. So it's quite an unusual, actually it's not really, because she plays one of those kind of characters who gets embroiled in a saga with a warlock.
So where this was filmed is actually an actual location in New England as well. It's a museum, and it's still there to this day. I was actually telling Andrew beforehand, 2 other films have been filmed there during the 90s. One of them, Hocus Pocus, And the other one is the Crucible.
Jerry Goldsmith's score as well.
Yep.
Jerry is, I would say, we've probably had some more amazing music from Jerry than anyone else on our watch parties. He's genre defying. He just so many big budget, small budget. Jerry just does some amazing scores. James is saying this film has a good writer and director, so his hopes are high. If you've not seen it before, James, this is a really solid film. I would say it's quite interesting as well. One of my reasons for picking this for everyone was, as you know, we're going to be shaking things up and introducing some different films into our watch parties in the next few weeks as we start going. We're going to be bringing in films that will be under the umbrella of In Search of Legends, our documentary that's recently been announced. It's gone into pre-production. I would say this is a borderline. Is this a horror or is this an adventure?
Probably call this more of a fantasy than a horror.
It's certainly got horror elements to it, but it's a proper. It's a fantasy adventure.
Yeah.
It's got time travel. It's got everything in it.
Well, of course, Steve Miner before this, he'd done House. Again,
another film we've done on.
You could say that's a fantasy horror as well.
It's certainly fantasy horror.
Yep.
This is definitely more, like I say, it's adventure fantasy horror. It's on the darker side.
What a great first appearance though from Julian Sands here, just in those manacles. The same, when this was had its test screenings in America, it actually scored really high. A lot of people thought it was going to be a big hit, but because of the 2-year delay, it really killed that, unfortunately.
It's a shame because it's a great film and it was subject to the finances of its distribution production company. Yeah. So I can see Jedi Wizard 1979. My dad and I saw this in a theatre during its 1991 run in the US. It was heavily advertised before New World went out of business when Trimark picked it up. Definitely a mix of genres and done well. Sharon's saying a basket of living cats getting a bad image in her head. It's okay, Sharon. They don't burn the cats. The cats are for cuddling with and stroking and feeding biscuits and things.
The cats are perfectly safe.
Yeah, there's no cats were harmed in this film.
Well, it's Richard E. Grant, who's probably more famous in the UK for a mid-80s film.
Yeah. We've gone witch hunting by accident.
Oh. I think the irony was Julian Sands always ended up before this playing the upper class English gentleman in a lot of British dramas and movies as well.
Oh, he's just wonderful, the cast in this. This is the problem, and I'll say this now. I can't imagine anyone else playing the role of the Warlock, and then we found out what happens when someone else plays the role of the Warlock in Warlock 3. Which was Bruce Payne took over the role of the Warlock, and I'll be honest, it was a role he shouldn't have done because Julian Sands was too iconic in the role. He couldn't do anything but do a poor imitation of Julian Sands.
So I was watching the documentary and Julian Sands actually talks about it. He said he was offered the part for a part 3 and he read the script and he went, no, this is terrible.
Icy Matty says this has the Highlander kind of style. It's kind of a fantasy with horror elements. It is. Oh, Mad Matt, I was saving this for later. Now, I'm scheduling up watch parties for the rest of the year. And I'm not going to tell you all of them, of course, because I can't tell you yet. But Mad Matt has posted a photo of Julian Sands in a horror film, another kind of fantasy horror film. that a lot of people find unpleasant. Who wants me to schedule at some point this year an arachnophobia watch party?
For all arachnophobes, no.
Sharon says no. Go for it, Matty. Matty says no. Eric says go for it.
I can watch any horror movie, but I refuse to watch anything with spiders in.
Oh, well, Brainwire says go for it. Fonzie says he loves it. Leanne says she's not afraid of spiders. Jedi Wizard wants arachnophobia. Calbot wants arachnophobia.
Honestly.
I'll tell you what, Sharon and John, since you have been guests before, Sharon, would you and John like to be my guests for the arachnophobia watch party? Since you two have been the most vocal against it.
Can we be blindfolded?
Okay, Sharon, you're on. John, you're on. I will schedule it later in the year. I'll let you know nearer the time. But you will be my guests on arachnophobia watch party.
It's going to be painful. You get your own back now, aren't you, Andrew?
And here we see the heroine of the film. Finding a Warlock in her living room, as you do.
It's got a nice build-up.
It does.
Oh, that late 80s hairstyle, clothing.
What a lot of people don't realise is this is the unofficial sequel to Footloose. She fell out with Ren and with her father and ran away to the big city where she got tangled with a warlock and a witch hunter.
Yeah. She dumped Kevin Bacon. He went off to live in the desert in a town called Perfection.
Calbot, exactly, you're right. So this is what happens when you go for a minister's daughter in a small town where dancing is banned.
I'm still trying to figure out a way we can include Footloose as a sci-fi movie.
Oh, I'd love to do Footloose, but I don't think I can work it into a watch party. Yes, Eric, very much so. She reminds of, she looks a bit like Lilo in The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Lilo in The Fifth Element, yeah.
Thanks, Eric. I now have Lilu Dallas Multipass stuck in my head for the next half hour.
James says John Goodman killing bugs in Arachnophobia. Yep. If you want that film, it's happening. Oh, yes. Mad Matt, good point. Julian Sands played Jor-El in Smallville. His physical form, who then, when it turned to the voice, was Terence Stamp, but we don't know why.
And he was in he appeared in the last couple of seasons of Stargate SG-1 as well.
And he also played, strangely enough, John Le Mesurier in the documentary about the British sitcom Dad's Army.
Yep.
We're seeing a plot point here that that she happens to be diabetic. I wonder if that'll come into effect later in the film.
Syringes. Yep.
Cassandra, but I'll probably keep calling her Laurie, unfortunately, throughout the film.
I just wonder if she actually ever burst into Footloose by doing the scene.
Yeah. Well, she's. Oh, James is saying, so this is Time After Time with a male witch in the place of Jack the Ripper. Kind of.
That's not a good film, actually.
That's an excellent film. Excellent film. I know I know our director David Weiner's a huge fan of Time After Time.
Yep.
I've
done by a certain director in Star Trek 2.
That's right.
Yep.
Now, I do enjoy breakfast, but I'll be honest, whoever cooks as an elaborate a breakfast as this at home. He does, Onzi. Early Triple H looks like Julian Sands.
He's even kind of got that same kind of outfit he wore going into the ring.
Yeah, in the early days.
Here comes the first
I'm remembering now what yeah, I remember now what happens.
Yeah, that's the one thing to say. Oh, I can't get the ring off.
Yeah.
Oh, I can solve that problem.
Oh.
I'm sorry, if I've just had my finger cut off, I don't think I'd be standing there.
I don't think there you go.
Oh, and time for some lip service.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was only thinking the other day that we don't eat tongue anymore. That's quite interesting. This is a big thing that was quite prevalent in part of the late 80s. Unfortunately, we moved on for it where sexuality was confused with perversion.
Mm.
You know, thank God we've moved on from there. Where, you know, just because someone has a different sexuality, it means they're into something evil or wicked, which isn't the case at all. But it's very much a stereotype of the late 80s. Like I say, thank God we moved on from. Oh dear.
Another heart icon on screen here.
Yeah.
It's funny mentioning Terminator earlier on with the time traveling, Highlander, because a lot of people regarded this along with Terminator as well, with somebody traveling back in time, chasing a villain. Whereas with this, they actually traveled forward in time.
Yeah. I would say that I get vibes of Cassandra of a very young Sarah Connor at the start of Terminator.
Yeah.
The kind of carefree waitress, which is exactly, they're very, very similar.
Mad Max is posted Chopping Mall.
Yeah, Chopping Mall was a great film. I watched that with the amazing Kelly Maroney, who was, I was blown away because before I joined when I was doing the watch party, before I came on with you guys, Kelly joined the joined the Zoom call and immediately knew my name because I'd spoken to her before, and I just got a little starstruck. And Kelly goes, "Hi, Andrew," and I'm like, "Oh, she knows my name."
Yeah, Kelly's just amazing.
Yeah,
I think she's Night of the Comet as well. Another brilliant film.
yeah.
I mean, this whole sequence coming up now was supposedly, well, it was going to be totally different.
Yeah.
But they had a major, when they did the test screenings, the audience actually laughed. They thought it was too comical. The effects didn't look great. She was supposed to be frozen.
Yeah.
And they changed it so, quickly rechanged it so she kind of gets this devil face.
I just love just the looks on Julian Sand's face in this film. He just owns this film. He's so wonderful in it.
Yeah, he takes it so seriously. He's not playing it camp.
No.
Yeah, this is the devil effect they did afterwards. Yeah, but in the original, and it actually ended up a brief clip in the trailer where you see him standing next to her frozen, and then he knocks her over and she shatters, and he actually takes the two eyeballs that appear on her chest from the floor. Yeah. Whereas in the version now, he pulls her eyeballs out, which is
not as nice.
Not as nice.
Well, yeah, none of it's nice particularly.
No.
Mad Matt's saying Demon Face reminds him of Ron Perlman as Vincent.
Beauty and the Beast. Oh.
What I would say, yeah, but what I would say about this is what's great about the character. He plays the character very similarly to the Terminator in that he's not a killer who's enjoying killing. He just views everything as beneath him. So he views it all as beneath him, and he'll just kill because they're in his way, or he needs something, or he needs something from them. But there's no pleasure in the killing. There's no remorse. It's just, yeah.
Well, that reminds me of the scene in Terminator with Dick Miller in the gun shop.
Yeah.
He just takes it, shoots him. Nothing personal. It's just, I want the guns, I want the ammo, you're in my way.
Exactly. That's how he plays this character. That's what's great about it. You don't tend to see the Warlock he doesn't ever go pantomime villain where he's sort of beard stroking, I'm evil Warlock. You know, he's never that kind of villain.
Well, that was Warlock 3. He was pantomiming it, and it didn't work.
No.
But then again, especially with the 80s movies, and especially in the horror genre, the villains took it seriously. They weren't camping it up, and that's why the films in the 80s worked so well.
Yeah. She packs about as well as me when I'm going anywhere. Because if I'm going anywhere, I take a shoebox with a slinky in it. It's essential.
I'm just going to ask where your slinky is in a couple of weeks then.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a lot of very impractical dresses.
Ooh. Whoa, God, he didn't just kill that guy, he butchered him.
Yep. Isn't that one of those tropes that the police say they never actually did, was put a body marking on the floor like that? They never actually did.
Well, there was an interesting thing there, and I don't know if they were implying something about it. If you looked, he was killed with salt in his hand.
Yeah.
And salt, I think even in this film that salt is a weapon against the Warlock.
Yep.
So was one of the, can we speculate possibly in the fight that happened between the two of them as he was riding around, he grabbed the salt even just as something to throw at the Warlock, not knowing what it was, but the Warlock knew it was salt.
Yep.
So it killed him there and then.
Went into a rage.
Yeah.
So you want to see Richard E. Grant go over the top, watch Hudson Hawk.
Yeah. The thing that's wonderful about this is, especially with the salt and everything else, this could be a sidequel, or Hocus Pocus could be a sidequel to Warlock. Because a lot of the mythos is very much the same.
I think David Trury actually went out of his way to actually get a lot of things correct with witchcraft. I like that little pump. He's with the water tap. He's actually pumping it as if it would be a water pump.
Yeah. We're just seeing some of the great sort of props and things occasionally in this film. This is a beautiful prop, the witch compass.
Yeah. It's proper practical, prop that you can play with.
Yeah.
I think any actor that will tell you if they can actually play with a real prop and triddle knobs and everything, they'll use it and make it look good. Just remember that the closer the Warlock gets, that's when it will start working.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh dear. Yeah, Eric, now you stick an air tag on the Warlock and then you'll just find him. Oh dear.
And if you notice, when he actually got tagged there was no sizzling or making funny noises, which is actually correct. They don't actually make any noise, and because of course all films now,
except the people screaming.
Yeah,
except the people screaming from it usually.
Yeah.
David said, this kind of reminds me of Commando. First, the girl calls the cops on Arnie, and afterwards she's helping it. But again, it's very similar to Terminator.
Yeah. Which is where a lot of people said it had the same kind of ties with Terminator, just reversed. No, nothing's happening.
I mean, to be fair, that's a prop I would love to have somewhere. It was just great.
Ooh, it's moving.
Dear. But that's, again, David saying it's like Commando, I'm saying it's like Terminator. That's why this film's quite a genre-breaking film in some ways, with how it works, because it is an adventure kind of a fantasy. It's not a straight horror film.
Well, Terminator just set the rules for so many films, even now. It's
Press 6 if you have a warlock in your house. If you have meddled with forces you do not understand, please press 7. You know.
If you're about to be scalped, please press 8.
Yeah. So we can see there was possibly more of a reason why he was taken to that house.
Mm. I mean, if you actually look at the guy's house, you know, he's got lots of early Pilgrim artwork. So he was obviously a collector
of antiques and all the New England type stuff.
Yep. Let's just grabbed her bracelet.
The thing is, as well, he's I know he's saying he's not enjoying it, but he is quite cruel in what he does as well. Because he had no reason to he could have killed her.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
But he's just going to make her suffer. Now, I know a lot of people do say they're not overly convinced with her makeup, the aging makeup in this. She wasn't happy wearing the makeup. She felt very uncomfortable wearing the prosthetics and the glue. So they had to cut back a lot of what they were doing, which unfortunately probably didn't help the film in that regard.
Yeah. She's, you know, it's quite it is cruel what he's done, though. It's deliberately no reason other than to be. But it's not like I don't know his motivation. Otherwise, he's done it to please his master? Is it he's done it because I don't know. It's just the motivation behind it seems quite strange with him.
Yeah. You see that rather famous theatre in the background?
Yeah.
So with the Warlock, I think it's his own, in some ways, he enjoys the torment he brings to others.
Yeah. He torments people, but he's not kind of sat there gloating about it.
Mm. Ah, here we go, the salt.
Mm-hmm.
I do love his outfit. And it was coyote pelt.
It was coyote pelt, is it?
Yep. It's just the idea her biggest fear is aging and getting old.
Yeah. But is that why he did that spell on her?
Yeah, I think that is why. Yeah. It's her biggest fear.
Hmm. Actually, she's 30-ish now, isn't she? Because wasn't the spell a decade? No, a decade twice a day.
Twice a day, so it'd be 20 years each day.
Yeah. So at best, she's maybe got another 3, maybe 3.5, 4 days left.
And what she's supposed to be, what, 20, 25?
Yeah.
So she's going to be probably 35 in her 40s hitting now.
Yeah.
This was definitely one of the better Ritz-Craft movies, though, that came out of Hollywood during the late 80s.
Oh, definitely. I enjoyed Witchboard. I really enjoyed very much Witchboard. But I do think this is probably a better film.
Mm. So more polished.
Yeah. And can we also just appreciate that Richard E. Grant's outfit was possibly very uncomfortably warm, as was Julian Sands in the Californian heat.
Yeah. Though ironically, when they were filming in Boston, they were quite happy. Well, Richard E. Grant was extremely happy with his. Not so much Julian Sands. He was actually chewing salt into the whip.
Yeah.
For these scenes. It wasn't sugar or anything. He was actually chewing the salt in.
I don't like food that's too salty anyway. I don't think I'd enjoy chewing table salt into a whip.
No. Got to admit, for somebody who's travelled forward 200 odd years, he's taken being in a car really well.
Oh, now we're seeing former child actor Brandon Cole.
Yeah. And this was one of the most controversial scenes in the entire film.
Yeah. There was a time where Brandon was a really major child actor.
Mm. Yeah, this scene was supposed to be a lot darker.
Yeah.
Julian Sands wasn't happy about it, and he was actually quite happy when they changed it.
And of course, he was the Brandon Cole was the original Hobie in Baywatch.
Baywatch, yep.
Jedi wizard saying stranger danger. He looks perfectly nice. Look, if you ask Sharon, if Julian Sands looking like that came up to her for a conversation, she'd sit down, have a coffee with him. You know, be friendly to strangers.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So thankfully they never filmed the actual scene. So
yeah, it's not good. Now, this isn't a cameo because he's an actor who possibly wasn't at the height of his sort of prowess. The attendant here is played by Rob Paulson, who is a very notable voice actor, especially in the DC animated movies now. And that's him. There we go. Mad Matt's poster picture.
Pinky. He does the voice of Pinky in Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah. Oh, Matt, Icy Matty's met him. I heard he's a very nice guy. So how long is the time lapse now supposed to be?
It's still in this the second day, the first day of traveling. So we're coming up probably to late afternoon.
It seems the Warlock must have acted incredibly quickly for this whole thing to happen and the news of the boy to be found skinned, etc., and the coyote to be hunted. It seems a very compressed timeline.
Hollywood magic.
Yeah.
So thankfully in the scene they never did film, you actually see him skin the boy.
Yeah.
Which would have been, I think, definitely one step too far. So famous rule, skinning children and killing animals in film, just don't go there.
It's the fact as well that Richard E. Grant is able to deliver the line, what's he making? Flying potion with such a straight face.
Yeah. And this is what he does, he drinks it.
I really like how the Warlock actually flies in this film, because he doesn't go the Superman way of doing it particularly. It's kind of like a walking, hovering effect, and it's.
Steve Barner said it looks really good on film, but very, very hard to film. Actually, get that pose. And of course, this was really before CGI and everything, so they were still doing it the old-fashioned way of a man on wires.
Two years of high school. We're finding a little bit of his backstory now.
And we're about to age big time again.
Yeah. So she's about to feel like me most mornings when I wake up. I feel about 900 years old when I get up out of bed in the morning.
Welcome to getting old.
Yes.
I will say, if you've aged 20 years in one day, I think your hair would be a tad longer.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, probably at most, she's probably got one more full day.
Yeah. But there you go. But she's saying exactly the reason why. Why couldn't he just kill me? Because he wanted to punish you. Yeah. This is one of my favorite sort of scenes in the film, this whole section we're coming up to now.
Yeah, with the plasma.
Yeah, it's more just the farm.
Yeah,
the whole farm scene.
It's just great. It's proper locations as well. It's not a set somewhere. It's a real working farm.
Again, we're seeing, as you're saying, with the sort of plasma here. This is wonderful to see. This is the 80s kind of hand-drawn animation over the live frames, which I'm such a big fan of.
Yeah. They were hoping to do something like what they did with Tron or Last Starfighter, but they couldn't quite put it off in time, even with the 2-year delay, because it was actually a finished film. Again, you get all this correct with, there's a Warlock there, so the milk's going sour. This is,
exactly.
Everything's going wrong.
This gentleman, I believe, is supposed to be I think he's a Mennonite. He's supposed to be, and sort of he knows the old ways. It's implied, which is. Yes, and he even knows to go up on the ladder and paint a big pentagram on the door of the barn. He's turned the witch compass kind of into an early sat nav.
Sat nav. So this is when you find out the true reason why he's a witch hunter.
Yes. Bad things involving the Warlock, I would guess, happened.
He spots the rather large pentagram on the side there.
That's right. And the witch compass is pointing towards it.
Of course, he'd know all the signs of there's something wrong here anyway.
Do you know what would have been great here? But obviously it wouldn't have worked with the witch compass if there'd been another Warlock in there.
And
bread that doesn't
rise.
Yeah. It's the fact as well, though, that the Mennonite guy is like, oh, thank God, a witch hunter just happened to be passing by.
Hasn't been one for a couple of 100 years, but we've now got one.
Yes. So, guys in the chat in Discord, do you have witch hunters available to you in your area? Do you have them in your, what you call it, yellow pages here? How do you get them? And is this a problem with education in schools at the moment? They don't teach kids how to deal with a warlock in the area.
Oh, warlocks don't exist. It's all hocus pocus.
Sharon says, "Who are you going to call witch hunters?"
Hunters. I knew that was going to come.
But that sounds like the asylum version of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, true, actually.
David says you just look it up on YouTube like you do everything else. I do have to say, though, if it was my grandfather in the house and he'd let in a strange man with a knife and a whip to go crawling around in the attic, I would possibly be saying, come on now, Dad or Granddad. It's gone a bit far now.
Yeah. What were you sipping last night, Dad? Come on.
Yeah.
Have you got some secret moonshine up there that you're not telling us?
Yeah, I'd be a bit worried because it's like some very heavy stuff in the attic too, like cast iron boilers and stoves and things some poor buggers had to lift up there. A bicycle. Mine just got like Christmas trees and cardboard boxes in it.
I mean, I don't want to know how you get a massive, proper oak chest of drawers up through the attic hatch. I mean,
That's a good point, Icy Matty. Ghostbusters 2 came out the same year. Well, yeah.
89, wasn't it yet?
That poor bat.
I don't think there was actually much time difference between me seeing this and Ghostbusters 2 at the cinema.
No. So he's also a vampire hunter in his spare time.
Okay.
James Hellier said on YouTube says Mennonites is Wes Craven's Deadly Blessing all over again.
Yep, another good film. That was made for TV, maybe one, wasn't that? Deadly Blessing, I think.
What it strikes me as well with this, it's kind of, they're both on the same quest in a way, but they've both got similar kind of things. He's got the witch compass to chase the warlock down, but the warlock's got the eyes to try to find the pages of the book.
Pages.
So it's kind of, they're both on similar kind of quests, kind of tracking stuff down.
And it's here he finds out what he's actually looking for.
Yeah.
It's just not in any spell book.
Mad Matt's saying, how did they split the book into 3 pieces? I think the pages can be pulled apart, but the book, but they can't be destroyed.
Yep.
Seal me up here with the warlock.
Here he comes.
But doesn't he know the Warlock could fly out the window? Oh.
Right, if I pull it shut.
James Hellier says, I'm reporting the witch hunter to Petter or Peter.
Cruelty to bats.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was a quick film.
Ow.
The stunt guy actually did do that in one go.
Did he?
Yes. He said he was fine afterwards, but he had a limp for a couple of days.
I bet. We can see it's just as well he salted the whip. I love this. He's going to throw the weather vane as a as kind of a spear or a javelin.
How heavy must that have been?
But he was. It's. He must be incredibly strong to be able to throw it like that. Oh, Mad Matt, you had to say it. 'Tis all in vain.
Oh
gosh.
It's a really bad puns out here today.
Yes. So he's like the witch handcuffs where his feet and yeah. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Look not in his eyes.
Nice.
I remember that line. Oh.
That's just, oh. I like that, you know, I like that. It's like, you know,
yeah.
I'm not going to let any more people die, you know.
No. This is one of my favorite. Again, this is why I like this whole sort of farm sequence is one of my favorites in this film. It always has been. I really like this scene where it's almost a bit like voodoo she's doing, where she takes the nails and the hammer.
It's so funny as well.
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I just thought, you know, you see him fall down in the sand, you see his head hit the sand, This will play an important role in a few minutes.
Onzi says his favourite sequence of the film is the farm stuff as well.
Yeah.
So the two guys are always thinking that grandmother's dressing a bit inappropriately for her age. I see Matty. What's she got in her mouth? She's got nails in her mouth.
It's coins, isn't it?
No, she's whole. Oh no, she has got coins. She's got coins in her mouth. Sorry, to protect her against the Warlock. But now she's looking for his footprints.
And this only works because Julian Sands sells it. He really does make this work.
She needs longer nails or to be knocking them in deeper.
This is that stopped it. Yeah, she can't nail my feet anymore.
Yeah, she needs longer nails.
Yep.
It'd be quite funny actually if she had some longer nails. If he was going with the board just stuck to his foot with invisible nails.
Oh, head print.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he needs some Tylenol.
Yeah. I would have actually probably hammered a few more nails into his head there.
Yep. I mean, that would definitely be a piercing headache.
Mad Matt's on fire.
What's he done there?
She hit the nail on the head. You're a pun machine today, Matt. And Sharon says, now you're talking, sister. Nails to the head, keep them going. I would. James on YouTube says, as a fan of Supernatural, I would have opted for chopping off his head and salting him. Oh. Here we go.
She does this really well. She's got these playing somebody that's in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
And trying to chase after a train.
But then again, I guess a lot of people would have a bit more, would have a lot about them if they knew they're getting that bracelet, their life depended upon it.
He's probably thinking at this moment, maybe I should have just killed you. That hurt.
Yeah. Are they on chicken bones or something?
They look like chicken bones.
Okay. She's still quite selfish, really, isn't she?
Oh, she's now going, well, I've got the bracelet back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yep, Leanne, she's young again, but she's got the arrogance of youth about her now as well.
So she's about to find out. That's not going to mean nothing in the next couple of, next
Yeah.
day, she doesn't do anything. They did say that's probably the one thing they didn't get across properly in the film, the actual what will really happen.
Yeah.
If he got the book.
Eric's saying, to be fair, I wouldn't like to fight a warlock, but she barely survived their first encounter.
Yep.
True. But I don't know. So Onzi asked a question, who did the makeup, the visual effect, the makeup effects in this? That would be Carl Fullerton, who did quite a few big films. Let's see if he's actually won any awards. He was nominated for an Oscar for the best makeup for Philadelphia, which was a few years later.
Yeah. That was for Tom Hanks when he was suffering with AIDS later on, I think.
That's right. He also did the makeup for Silence of the Lambs, which he was nominated for another award for. A lot of other great work.
And he actually did use the same makeup technique that he was trying to use for the aging, which Laurie Singer did not want to have on Tom Hanks, practically.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic, which 4 years later he then wins an Oscar for. So,
well, nominated for an Oscar.
Well, nominated, but
yeah,
makes you wonder who was actually correct and who was wrong in the makeup department there.
This is another scene I really like, the fact that they think they're being clever, but the Warlocks have the same plan.
It's also the idea of like you're trying to get him onto a plane. This whole scene would never work now. Do you really think they'd let you on a plane?
No, you can't. Yeah, I mean, this. To be fair, I flew in America in the late 90s, and I would say yes. All right, you wouldn't get away with a weather vane, a whip, and a knife, but it was a little more. Yeah, it was a little easier to fly. Don't check the power cables in the back of it. Mad Matt had his toothpaste confiscated.
I definitely think we're going to have fun when we do the Highlander watch party.
Oh, yeah.
What are you still doing with this?
It's amazing how we got... Let me put your weather vane in the overhead compartment, sir.
It's my exuberant walking stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have enough trouble getting through check-in with my walking stick.
Yeah,
I get the classic, oh, can you walk to the plane without it? If I could walk to the plane without it, I wouldn't have it.
yeah. There we go.
We're going to see something shortly that you've never seen on a plane now.
Yep.
All he needs is a gremlin on the wing. He'll be perfect.
No, it's not that. I mean, he's on a plane and he's wearing a thick wool skin outfit. Yeah, I should imagine he smells quite bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Can you actually sleep on a plane in a normal seat? I barely can.
I've learned to do it. There's something you've never seen on a plane now. I'm not talking about the blue flame.
No.
I think the worst experience I had on a flight, the seat back was broken. Mm-hmm. There was no spare seat, so I had a 9-hour flight having to lean forward the entire time.
I see Matty saying, I have slept on a plane. I normally can't sleep on a plane. Normally when I fly back from long haul, I have this habit. I load my laptop up usually with disaster movies from the late 70s. And I sit at night drinking the hot chocolate they bring around to the people who aren't sleeping, watching them while everyone else sleeps the lights off.
I got told off last time for having airplane on my iPad. I was told by the stewardess it was not suitable to viewing on an airplane.
No, I make sure what I have is appropriate, but I watch things like Earthquake and Roller Coaster, those kind of depressing late 70s kind of films. I enjoy them at night on my own.
Well, you can always now have In Search of Darkness 1 and 2, and that's 8.5 hours gone.
That's right.
So,
and now as we see, she's... Yeah, Mad airplane crash movies on a flight. No. I make sure I don't watch anything that's got plane crashes and things in it. Father Christmas was on the plane, by looks. And also, people who walk around in planes with their shoes off are the most disgusting people ever. Especially, right, the people who have no shoes on and use the toilet on the plane.
Try having one when they got 20 seats in front of them, they actually put one and then putting their feet up. Whoa. And it's like, no.
The thing is, he's right. His
right beneath him.
Yeah.
Right beneath him. I just like, and a lot of people don't realise what he's actually doing here. He's actually heating up some of the kids' fat to actually eat on the plane.
But it's still better than most in-flight meals.
That's true. Thanks, Andrew. I'm still looking forward to that. They were actually flight personnel because they couldn't actually open the doors, the actors.
That's right. That's right. The actors couldn't open the compartment door to the plane, so they had to get to airport staff who were qualified to do it for them.
I've actually been in cabs when I've had a taxi driver try this. I know where I'm going. No, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if they actually did remake this now? They probably made something in Vancouver, all done in one location. Whereas this, they did go to Boston. They travelled to different parts of the country for the filming.
Oh, James is saying airport 75. Yeah, James, I did once watch the Concorde on the flight because I knew it was too ludicrous that anyone would get concerned if they saw my screen.
For New Year, we actually did the airport collection marathon. And it was like, then we did watch the airplane movies, which were actually more serious than the airport movies.
Yeah.
But
and the minister has a very creepy looking pregnant wife.
Yeah, she definitely has that very Puritan, old-fashioned feel to her.
Honestly, I think people might disagree with you there, saying Concorde was a good airport movie sequel.
No.
Now here we go. Because he can't walk on hallowed ground. And again, this is very similar to stuff in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. And I think we have got Hocus Pocus 2 on the way.
We have indeed.
So is everybody enjoying the film so far?
That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of people who haven't seen this before. I think it's a tremendous film. I really enjoy it. And I think possibly the chat hasn't maybe been as active from ourselves as this, because we've been enjoying so many bits of this film. Yeah. It's great. So with our audience, who has not seen this before? That's probably a better question. Who's not seen this? And give us your thoughts for your first time seeing it. Sharon's saying, good movie, it's engaging and not over the top. Yeah, exactly. It's a solid film.
Again, it's not too ludicrous. I mean, I like Richboard, but it's not too ludicrous. It's not too over the top. It's actually got a nice level base to it all the way through.
What I like about this film as well is it does have the horror elements, but it's like I say, it's a fantasy, it's an adventure, that kind of thing. It's on the darker side of fantasy adventure, but I would say it's not pure horror.
No, I mean, on my listing, it's down as a fantasy horror. That's what I class this as. I mean, you had another film, I think it was like the same year, Waxworks, which again was more of a fantasy horror.
Calbot's saying, saw it for the first time last night, bought the trilogy Blu-ray for this watch party. Goodbye, even if just for this one. Number two's fun.
Good. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's very fantasy-based.
Yeah.
Number 3, set your expectations low and then lower them some more.
Julian Sands came out with a great line for part 2. He said it had the better effects, but not the better story. It's a shame they couldn't merge 1 and 2 together.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3, I wouldn't bother. It's
Brainwise says he's not seen. Well, Brainwise says he's not seen it before, but he's liking the story of the movie. And I think James is saying it's neat. Oh, Iron Monkey's joining us, saying, hi, if I'm awake. Well, welcome, Iron Monkey. You can't hear me, so if someone can answer him in the Discord. I'm here for the In Search of Tomorrow Discord, because, of course, we're merging our Discords with more communications to go out. The viewing is available to anybody via YouTube, but as always, you need your own copy of the movie.
Yep.
I'm sure one of our amazing community members will
So we're pointing you in the right direction.
Exactly. Sharon saying, the pregnant wife, is she the prostitute from the movie Unforgiven? Could well be.
Ooh, that's one to check.
Oh, it is. iMonkey's watching the stream. Own copy, thank you very much. Well, iMonkey,
yes,
can't wait
she
to have
was.
you.
Yeah, she was. Unforgiven.
There we go.
She was also in The Crow and True Romance.
There we go. Sharon's right. Well, iMonkey, you can join us next time and going forwards. Can't wait to have you with us.
We've got a fantastic film next week.
We'll go through that in a bit. We've got some good stuff.
We've got some really good films coming up. As I always say, though, even the worst theatre movies are fun in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
He's so creepy in this scene. Oh.
Yeah.
It's funny, both for both Richard E. Grant and that, they could have had much bigger careers, but they were both very happy with the way their careers went. They chose their paths.
I would agree, Mad Matt. She does look a bit like an aged Luna Lovegood, the wife. James says, not seen it before, but it's engaging silly. It's engaging silly, but it pulls it off with a straight face. Yeah, it's a bit silly, but it's a lot of fun.
I could be asking for trouble with this. I'll even include more modern movies, but what are people's favourite witchcraft or witchcraftian type of movies?
Well, I've got to admit, I don't like a lot of the modern witchcraft movies. They're starting, I think the worst of all I've seen in recent times, but that's nearly 20 years ago now, would be Blair Witch Book of Shadows.
Yep.
Dreadful film.
Nothing to do with the Blair Witch, the original film at all.
No,
really.
Not at all. Oh, good point, David. Would this movie have influenced The First Power, which came out in 1990?
I think they're very similar in kind of the witchcraft and satanic aspects. Also, a really good film.
Oh, Onzi, The Craft. Yeah, that was a fair film. But the only thing about The Craft was it had such a cultural impact. It became annoying with a lot of people who were, I don't know.
Well, we also got stuck with Charmed as well, didn't we? The TV show. Oh.
Sharon, that's a good film. Witches of Eastwick.
Yep. That's another 80s good one.
Yeah.
What was the came out at the same time as The Sixth Sense with Kevin Bacon? Which Stir of Echoes. Which I actually thought was a better film than The Sixth Sense.
Oh dear, he found his own grave. Oh dear, there was a sign there about some kind of project behind them.
It's never a good sign when you see empty graves either.
No.
I'm getting poltergeist vibes here.
Yes, don't be messing with the...
Not good. So we know that's hallowed ground, or hallowed ground.
We know that's hallowed ground. So immortals would have to be very, very careful fighting in that graveyard, wouldn't they? One step too far. Sharon's saying, anyone ever walk through a graveyard at night? Yes, unfortunately. Bearing in mind, I lived in England when I was doing it as a kid. And you got to remember, we have very spooky
graveyards
with graves from hundreds of years ago.
I remember as a kid having to walk through a graveyard. If I went to the sports centre and coming home at night, I had to walk through a graveyard to get home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really want to look at my own.
His coffin wasn't sealed very well.
Okay, better not look.
Mm.
To be in there, he's been in there a couple of 100 years. He's not exactly going to be in the best condition.
No, he's been in there about 300 years, isn't he? 200-300 years.
Embalming probably wasn't done as a thing back
then
either.
I don't think he would have been particularly embalmed, no. Oh.
Really?
Oh.
He's got a good death grip on it though.
Yeah. It's functioning a bit like a witch compass now.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Really? Oops.
Mad Matt wants to see Julian Sands riding a vacuum cleaner through the graveyard.
This is a bad movie to watch. I'm getting too engrossed.
It is. It's a great film. It really is good. He's being very careful. Yes, I see Matty Julian should have had a cape for this. I'd like to have seen him.
I'm sorry, but Edna says no capes.
No. I think a cape would have been good with him. Oh,
this is payback for the nails. Payback for the nails.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story about me doing something similar by accident once. When we lived in one house, inexplicably, a sewing needle had dropped onto the floor. And I trod on it, and the sewing needle went through my heel, straight up and out the side of my foot. Big, long sewing needle. I was on my own at home, and I had to hop on one foot downstairs, out the house, around the front of the house, to the garage to go and get a pair of pliers out a toolbox to be able to pull the needle out my foot. And let me tell you, it hurt quite a bit.
I've done the classic silly when I was a kid, going into the stream, paddling, bit of broken glass.
Ow.
Yeah. Oh, this is just like, I'm now paying off. What happened? What did I do to your wife?
Yeah.
Are you going to stand there and watch me do it again?
I think they've got a great. I think there's some great stuff in the chat at the moment from our Discord community. They're saying how wonderful Julian Sands could have been in a Harry Potter film.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm thinking
Snape. They're saying, or Lucius
Snape
Malfoy.
or Lucius Malfoy. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
a Lucius Malfoy feel.
I've said he could have played a Voldemort, to be honest.
It's just, I mean, he had the idea of having his hair in a ponytail. That was his idea. And it works. It works for that character.
Oh.
What, you know?
The thing is, this is so out of character for Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, I've actually met him once, and he's such a lovely person.
I heard he's a lovely man, but this is quite an action role for him, and he's not traditionally an action kind of actor.
Yeah. I said when this was released in the UK, it was quite a reasonable hit in the UK. Because I mean, before he did this, it was just Written L&I he was known for.
Yes.
And he had another film come out just after this, How to Get Ahead in Advertising, which everybody thought was going to be something totally different, and people were like, "What are we watching?"
Ow.
He'd have made a good Doctor Who, actually.
Well, Richard E. Grant, or do you mean Julian Sands?
Richard E. Grant.
Well, Richard E. Grant did play the Doctor twice. He played him once
Yeah.
in Curse of the Fatal Death as a special, and he also played the Doctor in an animated special called on BBC as well.
Yeah. And Julian Sands would have been a good master.
He would have been a very good master.
So,
Unfortunately, she got that a little bit wrong. She put the whip around his neck, but didn't actually touch his skin particularly with it.
oh, somebody's going swimming in a certain river in Boston.
Or it'll be coastal if it's in Boston, so it would be saltwater.
Yep. Oh, that taste of something.
Yeah. Oh, James is saying we're enjoying this. It isn't extra.
No. We've sat through worse than extra.
We have, but I really, this is such a fun film. This is a quality film.
So there's films I can go back to watch again quite happily, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Now, on release, I think in Germany, they changed that from the name of God to the name of the devil. For some reason. Oh, landed on your own grave.
Yeah.
Now, there's still something I love about doing the old cloud technique with water and ink. I think just looks magical. You see that done now with all CGI. It's kind of lost that feel.
Yeah.
If you actually look in the background, you can see the gravestones wobbling and falling over. Oh. You know, I think for this next bit, Julian Sands is an absolute star.
Yeah.
For what he went through for the first part coming up. And I'm not talking about the bladder effects.
No, this is great though. I mean, even Julian Sands, we're just seeing the
he actually did do that with actual, and then he's a stuntman.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't like one of your principal leads to being set on fire.
To actually have those actual effects going off on your flesh like that, is actually really.
I see, Matty. No, it wasn't holy water. She injected him with salt water.
Salt water.
Because it's a coastal river she was in. That's why she licked her fingers and realised the water was salty and filled her diabetes insulin syringes up with the salt water and injected him with it. Oof.
Richard E. Grant, before he did that scene, he said to the actual effects guy, "Can I stomp on the skull? It's not going to break." And the effects guy went, "No, the skull will not break."
And the skull
he stomped on it and it broke. I always think this is kind of sad.
Calbot, and remember to brine your Warlock before cooking.
I think Calbot gets the award tonight, and Mad Matt for the good puns of the evening.
Yeah, I think you're the pun masters of the pair of you tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little old for you, dear.
400 years, you know, come on.
I think 300 years is an insurmountable age gap in a relationship.
He's gone. Well, I just like this little effect of the. I'll just wait for it.
It's like the time travel whirlwind.
Yeah, and it's actually going to his actual grave.
Mm.
Yep. I'm limping because I've had a glass shard stuck in my heel. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have taken the book with you.
Well, she's got some of the books there. Sharknado for Timenado. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, the ultimate crime against humanity.
But again, this is very similar in a way to a Terminator type ending.
Yep.
She's kind of toughened herself up. She's got a vest on.
She's got a vest top on. Yep.
Yeah.
And that is actually the salt plains. It is the salt plains. To make it ultra safe, no Warlock's going to dig that book up.
I'd have probably dug it deeper than that. I would probably dug it like 6 feet deep.
I think you're pretty much safe in the salt plains.
I don't know. She's still got her life packed in a car as she drives off across the salt plains.
I mean, either that or dump it in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've got Juan Masal. Sorry if I can't say your name. Juan Masal. Movies, video games, and barbecue. One of my favorite endings. So sad I missed this. Well, you can always catch up with us and, of course, join us for future watch parties because we're here every week. So, guys in the Discord, let's have your final thoughts, what you thought about it. John, if you want to give us your summary of the movie, please.
I think it's a charming late 80s movie that it delivers on everything it comes up with. It sums up everything in that period perfectly, and it was that last great hurrah of the 80s, really.
Exactly. And I think it's also probably worth mentioning something we've discussed before this in the Discord, that now it's possibly a Disney movie. So there we go. Because Disney, through their various acquisitions now, I believe, own this movie. So that's...
Yeah, which is bizarre. But because it was technically owned by Fox and they now own... Yeah.
So we've got Icy Matty saying this is a better ending. They should have just left it. This not made a sequel. Sharon saying she lives happily ever after. Onzi saying until he's back for part 2. Phonic says great movie. Thanks a lot. David Mace says still love it after all these years. We've got Sharon saying it's well done. Great story, solid acting. Jedi Wizard. I love this movie. My wife is calling it cheesy comedy. Go figure. Brainwise saying that's a great movie. Eric says, I really liked it. Did forget a couple of things. Haven't watched it for more than 15 years. Icy Matty's off to have his breakfast. Monzi says, great, entertaining adventure, fantasy action movie with some horror elements. Yep. Okay, so next week we are back. I'm going to be joined by our friend Carla, who's been busy working on other production stuff at the moment. This is a request of hers.
Can I show it?
Not yet. And I'm going to also let you know this will be the last of the current style of watch parties. Yep. Next week will be the last of the current style. Don't worry, we're not going away. The week after, we are going into launching what I'm referring to as Watch Parties 2.0. I have kindly managed to speak to our CEO, Robin, who has taken the shackles off us with the watch parties. So I've had the years extended slightly on either end. So we can do some late 70s movies and some up to early to mid 90s movies, as well as we will be starting to expand our movies out to cover our In Search of Legends movies too. So we will be covering movies of horror, of fantasy, and of sci-fi. So we're going to be mixing it up. We're going to get a lot more movies. All of us here together. That's why I've got the combined Discord that everyone's coming into. Invite your friends. We want as many of you to join us as possible. The first movie for Watch Parties 2.0, which will not be next week, but the week after. Okay, I'll tell you what. The last of the current watch parties will be, John can reveal it. Go on, John. Will be Mac and me. We are ending.
I apologise.
We are ending.
Hey, Carla.
We're ending with a bit of a turkey. However, the first of the Watch Party 2.0s in 2 weeks' time will be, I think I'll put it into the chat for, I think I'll put a GIF in the chat. So bear with me 2 seconds. And let's see who...
I'm holding off my post.
There you go. Is everyone excited for that as our first watch party of the new type? Oh, it might have been the wrong GIF I posted. I don't know. No, that was...
It's a Conan one.
I thought it was Conan. It is. It's Conan, the Barbarian.
The classic.
Exactly. James just said it was a very silly movie, but treated the material seriously, so it worked. Yes, it was a great film, and he really enjoyed it. Well, just to say to everyone, thanks, John, for joining us, as you were a very kind last-minute replacement, unfortunately, as Dom is not feeling too well, unfortunately.
Hope you feel better soon, Dom.
Yep. So best wishes to Dom, who will be joining us again soon. But Carla will be back with us next week for for Mac and me, and then I will be back again in 2 weeks' time with Conan. But everyone, stay safe, be kind to each other, have a wonderful week, and it'll be great. So the current watch party will be going out with a bang with Mac and me, and then the week after, Watch Party 2. So have a great time, everyone. Stay safe. See you soon.
Keep safe, everyone. Bye.